Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to prepare for SAT. We have been solving SAT math problems out of this book here, the official SAT study guide. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You're going to need it. The problem that we are about to solve is the one that you will find on page number 598. Please turn to it. Page 598, problem number 17. It's one of the last two problems in the section, and obviously, for that reason, these are hard questions. Let's see what we can do there. It's important that you have the book in front of you and that you read the problem to yourself. Don't depend on my reading the problem to you in its entirety. So we have three clocks here, A, B and C we are told. A, B and C. 10 of these, 5 of these and 3 of the 10. This one chimes n times. Listen, there isn't enough room here to put this entire chart on the blackboard, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave it up to you. The question simply is, so we have three clocks, A, B and C. We are told that clock A chimes n times on nth hour. So when it's 7 o'clock, clock type A will chime 7 times. At 3 o'clock it chimes 3 times. At 12 o'clock it goes bonkers. Similarly, clock B, we are told, chimes n times on nth hour. The difference between clock A and clock B is that clock A also chimes once every half hour. Clock B does not. Finally, the clock C is the simplest of the three types, where it chimes once. It just chimes once on the hour and every half an hour. That's it. Question simply is, how many chimes are we going to hear between the period of 7:15 and 8:45? Let's take a look at it. Between the period of 7:15 and 8:45, A, B, and C. At 7:15, at quarter of an hour, nothing happens. None of these clocks chime at all at quarter of an hour, so nothing happens at 7:15. At 7:30, we know that clock type A is going to chime once, and there are 10 of them. So there are 10 of them, and they chime, and they're going to chime once. So we're going to hear 10 chimes at 7:30 from clock A, because there are 10. All of these 10 clocks are going to chime once. Every half an hour it chimes. Clock B, if you look at the chart, does not chime on half an hour. But clock type C do, and there are 3 of them. So we're going to hear 3 chimes from them. So that takes care of 7:30. Let's move on to 8 o'clock. We're not going to worry about 7:45. Nothing is going to happen at 7:45. At 8 o'clock is where things get tricky. Clock type A, if you look at the chart, it tells you, clock type A, as we just went through it, it chimes n times on nth hour. So at 8 o'clock, each one of these clock type A, each one of them, and there are 10 of them, each one of them is going to chime 8 times because it's 8 o'clock. And there are 10 of them. So we're going to hear 80 chimes from these 10 clocks because it's 8 o'clock. Similarly, clock type B also chimes n times on nth hour. And there are 5 of those. So we're going to hear 5 times 8 chimes for clock B. Clock C chimes only once, regardless of what hour it is. Every hour and every half an hour, clock C just chimes once. And there are 3 of them. So far so good. Let's move on to 8:30. We're not going to worry about 8:15. Let's move on to 8:30. At 8:30 again, at half an hour, clock A chimes once, we are told. Clock A chimes once on half an hour. At 8:30, they're going to chime once, and there are 10 of them. Clock B does not chime at half an hour. Clock B does not chime on half an hour. Clock C again chimes. Clock C is the simplest one, as we said already. It chimes once every half hour, it chimes one on the hour. That's it. And there are 3 of them. That's it, we're done. That's how many chimes we're going to hear. All we have to do is add them up. So 10 plus 80 plus 10 is 100. and this is 40, 4 5s are 40, and this is 9. That's it, that's our answer. 149 chimes is what we're going to hear during the period of 7:15 and 8:45. Again, I did not bother with 8:45 because nothing happens at quarter of an hour, which is why I skip 7:45, 8:15 and 8:45. Nothing is going to happen. The things only happen at half an hour and on the hour. That's it. That was the end of it. That was problem number 17. Let's go on to number 18. Let's go on to number 18. So the answer is 149. The answer is 149. In 18, we are told that we have 5 cards. They look something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. With a dot on it. With this. With this. That, and an open circle. And we are told that we are to place these cards in a row. So that this guy is never at either end. And the question simply is, how many arrangements are possible? Now listen, we're going to do this problem, but we're going to do this problem in a little bit different way. Because if you look at these cards, and if you try to manipulate the cards the way they are given here, with different symbols here, it's stupid, it's annoying. Don't use these symbols, it's annoying, it's stupid, it's irritating. Let's give them a name. A, B, C, D, and E. And don't think of them as cards, I want you to look at them as people. We have 5 people. Listen carefully. Here's our problem. I'm going to rephrase the problem. We have 5 people rather, and we are told that we are to sit these people on a bench. We're going to put them on a bench, on a straight line bench. 5 people. Here's our bench. There are 5 spots in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We are to sit these 5 people on a bench, straight line bench, as you can see there. The problem is that this guy C refuses to sit at either end. That's all. He's stubborn. He's uncompromising. He's unyielding. Here's the word. He's intransigent, I believe. It's how it's pronounced, I think. It's the word that cropped up on the SAT recently, which is why I have on the blackboard there, which means unyielding, uncompromising. He's unyielding, he's uncompromising, he's stubborn. He says, I do not want to sit at the end. Well, given this constraint that he doesn't want to sit at the end, which is same as saying what they're saying here, that this card that we see there is never at either end. And by the way, this card C, not wanting to sit at either end, has absolutely no significance at all. It could have been this card or that card or this guy or that guy. One guy doesn't even have to be that particular guy. One of these 5 guys says, I am not going to sit at either end. Our job is to figure out how many different ways these people can be seated. Let's find out, shall we? How many different ways can we fill up the first spot? How many different ways can we fill up the first spot? The answer is 4. There are 4 different ways we can fill up the first spot. We can have either A, B, C does not want to sit at the first. C does not want to sit at the either end. You see, right here. C refuses to sit at either end. So we have 4 choices: A, B, D, or E. We can put any one of these 4 people in the first spot. There are 4 ways to fill the first spot. Now that we've taken care of this end, now the smart thing would be to take care of this end now, because these are the 2 complications that we have to deal with. The rest is straightforward. How many people can we put at this end? The answer is only 3 people, because whichever one of these 5 people, whichever one of these 4 people that we put here, let's pretend that we put E. Let's pretend that we put E at this spot. Once we have set down E at this spot, or the first spot, we cannot have E sitting here also. So E is not an option anymore. So now we have only 3 options: A, B, and D, because E is already sitting on this spot. So there are four possibilities, there are four people that we could have put in the first part. Once you have chosen one of those four people to put in the first part, that person is taken care of. Now there are only three people left that are willing, who are not dead rather, who are willing to sit at the end spot, and there are three of them left. So there are three ways we can fill up this spot. Let's pick a person, shall we? Let's pick a person so that we know he's sitting at that spot. Doesn't matter who it is, just pick one person, whichever you like. Or to be more precise, whoever you like, not whichever, it's not an object. Whoever you like, it doesn't matter. That's it, we're done with the end part. Ask yourself, how many different ways can we fill up this spot? Now, C comes into play. C comes into play because C is an option now. So there are three possible people that we can put at this spot. B has not been seated yet, and then we have a C and we have a D. There are three possibilities. There are three different ways we can fill up this spot. Let's pretend that we put D. There are three ways we could have filled this spot. Once we have filled up that spot, how many different ways can we fill up this spot? The answer is only two, because there are only two people left. It's going to be either B or a C. Let's pretend that we put C at this spot, or let's pretend we put B in this spot. I don't want to put C here because I don't want to make it sound like we're going D, E, D, C, and so forth. Let's put B there. There were two options here. There were two options. How many different ways can we fill up this spot? Spot number 4. Now that is a moot question. That is a moot question because it doesn't matter. Because this question has no practical significance. How many different ways can we fill up this spot is a moot point because there's only one person left. That question is asked purely for theoretical purposes. It has no practical implication. There is only one person left, and that person is going to go here. There is only one way we can fill up that spot. There you go. So we have E, D, B, C, and A sitting just like that. And there you go, that's your answer. 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 times 3. That's our answer. How much does it work out to be? 4 times 3 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24. So it's 24 times 3. This quantity comes out to be 24 times 3. And how much is 24 times 3? If you were to come up to me out of the blue and ask me how much is 24 times 3, and if you watch any of my previous videos, this is day number 55 now, you already know the answer what I'm about to say. If you were to come up to me and ask me how much is 24 times 3, my answer would be, how the hell do I know? But I do know how much is 25 times 3. I know 3 25s are 75. That I do know. If 3 25s are 75, 3 24s will be 3 less than that. It's 72 is the answer. The answer is 72. That's it. Let's learn these words that you see on the blackboard. I use the word moot point I said. When we get to this spot, question was how many different ways we can fill up this spot. That was a moot question. A moot question is one that is asked purely for theoretical purposes. It has no practical significance. It has no practical implication. That was a moot question because there is only one person left. That person, whoever is left, whoever is not has not been seated yet, is the person that's going to go here. There's only one way, so it's not a matter of choice. How many different ways? There's only one way. It was a moot question. That is something that we learn on day number 7. That's what the 7 signifies there in our vocabulary lesson. If you want to learn this word properly, if you go to my vocabulary lessons, you will find on day number 7 we learn the words moot. Another word that you see here is christen. What does it mean to christen? Christen has literal meaning and metaphorical meaning. Literally, christen has to do with faith of Christianity, where I believe when you baptize somebody, and that's called christening somebody. Metaphorically, that's the literal meaning of the word. Metaphorically, to christen somebody means to give somebody a name, to name somebody. I'm trying to see in my vocabulary list as to when we learned it. Christen. I know we learned it. Just give me a second here and I'll find it, in case you're curious. I guess we haven't learned it. I thought we did. That's what it is. It means to name somebody. It means to baptize somebody. Oh, day number 63. What do you know? Day number 63. And digress means to go off topic. You see here, it means to go off topic. I don't know why it's that word is there, but it's there. It's something we learn on day number 3. But that's it. That's the end of it. The answer is there are 72 different ways we can sit these people. But the key is that when they give you these annoying symbols and so forth, if you try to manipulate the symbol in your mind, it's a bit more tedious. Give them name. Oh, there you go. That's where this word came from. Christen them. Give them name. Christen them. Call them A, B, C, D, E. You can think of them as 5 cards, or you can think of 5 people. It doesn't really matter. Do you understand? I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Bye now.